Hey guys, Steve with PR Bush Wheels. Robert's behind the camera. You know, it is what it is, right? All right guys, we've been promising you a video out here for a while. First one we want to do here is we want to show you how to make a pump to inflate your PR Bush Wheels out the field. Real simple process. We'll go over a couple of the components that we have here. This is just your very inexpensive sports ball pump. I got it on Amazon for $8.95. We're going to use a pair of end cutters, a pair of dikes if you need them, side cutters. We got a little ball driver. I've got the quarter scale PR Bush Wheels here, the 875. So we'll demonstrate on this. The other thing you're going to need is some poly 1 1/4 inch ID tubing. This 1/4 ID tubing is what you're going to need. This is going to fit right over the top of the PR Bush Wheels valve stem. And then you're also going to want yourself a razor knife that'll help you cut. And then we'll get to work on this. So I just happen to have a small piece cut off here that we'll be using. So that's already cut off. So as this is, I want to just kind of show you the pump here a little bit. This just happens to be a dual action pump. It pumps both directions. Again, this one was $8.95 on Amazon.com. Got it really cheap. Made in Taiwan. You should be able to find about anywhere you can look at to find your local or on the internet. Just to show you what this one is, it has a little sticker on the back here. So keeping in mind with the modification we're going to do, this actually still has the little stem in it that you can use to insert in your ball pump. The modification we're going to do, you'll still be able to use that if you desire. But we don't recommend using that on the PR Bush Wheels. Also, so this is just the thread-in type here, but if you don't find one, the key to what you're looking for is finding one that has this section here that's got some rigid mounting system to it with a hose that you can cut off. That's what you're really looking for. So it's real simple. What we're going to do is we're going to reinstall the inflation hose. We're just going to take and tighten it up just slightly. You can actually almost do it finger tight. So that's on there nice and tight. I'm just going to take the razor knife. I'm going to cut the hose off ever so gently. Try not to get any blood on you. But you're never working unless you actually get a little bloody, right? So I just try to do my best to clean all the fraying off of here. I'll take the end cutters a little bit. And if you don't get it all off, it's not going to be the end of the world. Okay, so that's what you end up with. I can even clean a little more of that off. And sometimes if you got a little Dremel tool, you can grind it out. Again, this isn't going to be that crucial, but you kind of get the idea there, and I might clean this up a little bit later. Alright, let's go to the tubing. So, just your standard 1/4 inch ID poly tubing. And just to show you what's going to do, this is just going to slide over the top of this. So, you simply just push that all the way on. And you see what I've done there. So now you've got a good seal all the way around that little section inside the crimp. What I'll do now is I'll come back and I'll cut a little bit longer than I normally need. If you start out with a 1-inch piece, it's nice having a long piece so you can actually use that to push it on. But if we come in here and cut about a 1-inch length of this, so it's about 1 inch long, and you see how jagged and rough that is. I'll take the end cutters and I'll come in, make a nice straight cut across there. You can even clean it up, but that just does a really good job across there. It keeps it nice and flush. You'll see that there's about, again, this is for Chuck down in Australia, about a 10 millimeter section here. Not quite 3/8 of an inch, a little over 3/8 maybe. So that's all you need to get yourself a good firm seal on the tire. So now, what I'll do is I'll set this aside for a second. So we're going to take our ball driver, and these are usually just seated in. They're not really that hard. You can hear a little bit of the air coming out. So I take my finger, push it over the hole there. Again, remember we've talked a lot, don't push too hard on this because you can actually push that valve stem into the inside of the tire. Take your we like to call it now the PR Bush modification to your air pump, and you just gently push it over the top of the valve stem, and I'll turn it sideways here, you see how we're actually pushing against the tire now with the valve stem on the inside of the tubing. So I'm going to set this on the table. And since this one pumps both ways, it's kind of fast compared to a lot of others. So I'm just putting light pressure down on the tire just so it seals around the valve stem. I gave myself about 8-10 pumps there. Put my finger back over the hole, and that's already increased that tire pressure a fair amount to pretty good. You can kind of see, I'm still wanting to be able to push on it, depending on the weight of your airplane. But really, these tires want to have a little bit of a sponginess to them. I've got the valve stem in my other hand. Just quickly put it back on there. You do lose a little bit of air. That's why you give it just an extra pump of inflation. Robert and I, a lot of times, we will just take and put that on hand tight, and that's where we run our tires. If you want a little extra, give it just a tiny bit. Just be really careful. You can see here where any more pressure is going to push that O-ring out. We don't want to be pushing that O-ring out because that's going to cause your tire to deflate. So just keep them snug, call it good. If you ever want to check them, a bit of soapy water, spray on there. And now you got yourself a nice PR bush wheel. There's a quarter scale. And if you look at me pushing down on the tire, this one probably has even a little bit more air than we might run it, because we do want those tires to kind of come and be real spongy, so when you're landing with them, they actually absorb a lot. These in combination with a PR bush shock, I'll tell you what, you got a good flying aircraft. So, hope this helped you guys out. Give us a shout, shoot us an email, give us a call in the US. We can help you out, answer any questions you guys might have. Have a great day.